Hey folks, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you're all well. This one's going to be a bit different, but I couldn't watch the situation unfold without passing at least some comment on it, as it's another one of these cases which could help define the limits of creative output on YouTube and what's allowed when it comes to making videos. What it comes down to is an argument boiling over between two YouTubers, Thunderfoot and Trevor Mahlmann, which could potentially result in another court case which sets a precedent over the definition of fair use. There's a few different parts to the story, so the video that I'm going to make just now is just a summary of the situation as it currently stands. I will comment on what I consider to be mistakes by Trevor Mahlmann though, because I know I'm not the only one who finds his tactics slightly questionable, to say the least. So the complainer here, Trevor Mahlmann, is a small YouTuber whose channel is about filming rocket launches and things like that, and then he puts those videos up, and his channel is called Trevor Mahlmann. In the other corner of the argument, we've got the science YouTuber Thunderfoot, who's well known for his anti-Elon Musk videos, as well as his anti-religion videos and his videos debunking scientifically impossible inventions, snake oil inventions basically. Thunderfoot's videos, like many other videos on YouTube, are often packed full of clips from other sources. This is often generally accepted as fair use. However, it's not quite as simple as that. There are specific instances where something like that would not fall under fair use, and other times where it perfectly would fall under fair use. But the other day, Thunderfoot made another of his videos criticising Elon Musk and one of Musk's companies, SpaceX, and in Thunderfoot's video he clipped a 20-second segment out of one of Trevor's videos. Trevor's video was about 8 minutes long, I believe. Thunderfoot clipped out 20 seconds of a part where a SpaceX rocket explodes as it's landing, and a bunch of guys in the background holler and cheer because something went boom. Trevor Mahlmann clearly saw Thunderfoot's video and realised that the clip was from one of his own videos, and he sent Thunderfoot an email which has been accused by some of being a typical template of opportunistic copyright extortion. It accuses Thunderfoot of copyright infringement and says that Trevor Mahlmann licenses his videos for $750 a pop, and says that Thunderfoot must pay $750 to end the matter now. The email expresses that it's a generous offer in the interests of keeping things affordable for Thunderfoot, and Thunderfoot has 4 days to PayPal him the low, non-negotiable price of $750 so that he can avoid being hit with much larger damages in court. Mr. Mahlmann even points out that Thunderfoot has a big channel and he wouldn't want to have to strike Thunderfoot's channel because a channel can only get 3 strikes before termination, and he definitely wouldn't want to go down this road because he's a nice guy looking out for other creators. It's all done in the spirit of the utmost generosity. For what it's worth, and it doesn't really make any difference to whether it's fair use or not, but Mahlmann didn't give Thunderfoot the opportunity to remove the clip, nor did his channel mention anything about licensing his videos before all this happened. He has now added a disclaimer to videos now, but beforehand he simply invited people to join his Patreon to get access to high resolution downloads of his work. So it isn't immediately clear that Mr. Mahlmann actually had a business licensing videos for $750 a pop. Not openly anyway. It didn't seem to be his business model online. Maybe his business is stinging people in the background with letters like this which ramp up the pressure on people that have used clips from his videos. Of course, that is just the way it looks to me, and I could definitely be wrong. It is just personal opinion, and as I say, that's irrelevant to whether it's fair use anyway. One thing that is obvious though is that Trevor hasn't seen Thunderfoot's previous work, especially his videos pertaining to copyright battles, because Thunderfoot has received messages over the years from people similar to this, demanding that he either remove footage of theirs from his videos or that he pays them for using clips of theirs, and Thunderfoot always argues that he only uses clips under fair use. And he pretty much always makes a video on the topic which becomes extremely popular, and this is what he did this time as well. Thunderfoot made a video laying Trevor's email bare for all of the internet to see, and it didn't go down too well. It reminded some people less of a legitimate request to purchase a license and more of copyright trolling. And just generally how it was worded didn't go down too well with the audience. That's not to say anything about Trevor Mahlmann as a person, but the letter that he's sending out to people, or the email that he's sending out to people, it seems to be designed around ramping up the pressure to elicit a payment now, rather than advising them that they've misused his work and asking for a resolution. Anyway, Thunderfoot's video went live and Trevor switched off all the comments on his own channel and took to Twitter, upset that Thunderfoot had gone public and saying that Thunderfoot should actually lose his entire channel for bullying, basically. Which I think is slightly ironic because, at least in my opinion, his email to Thunderfoot was worded in a way that could come across as bullying, except he tried to do it behind the scenes. This is something we see quite a lot of on YouTube. Someone does something that many people see as stupid, other creators talk about the stupid thing, and the person who did the stupid thing in the first place then accuses the people who talk about the stupid thing of being bullies or trolls. It's something I've seen a lot of on YouTube, and there's a word for it: crybullying. I also don't think that Trevor saying that Thunderfoot should lose his channel is a great idea from a legal perspective, because these things are looked at in court and can have an impact on whether someone is awarded damages. The courts don't like copyright lawsuits being brought in for what appears to be punitive reasons. We saw this in the case where Akilah Hughes sued Carl Benjamin, also known as Sargon of Akkad, for copyright infringement on YouTube. She lost her case and Carl Benjamin was awarded $40,000 in costs. This award was made in part due to the spiteful nature of Akilah Hughes' social media posts about Mr. Benjamin leading up to the lawsuit, where she said that she wanted to bankrupt him and things like that. So yes, it seems like Trevor does like a bit of the old cancel culture, which doesn't help his credibility. And after saying on Twitter that Thunderfoot should lose his channel and a large part of his livelihood for talking about Trevor's demand for payment, he laid out his reasons that he considers Thunderfoot's use of his clip not to be fair use. Amongst other things, Trevor believes that Thunderfoot did not transform it, which is a point I disagree with him on, and he feels that Thunderfoot used the clip as it would have been licensed to him as stock footage. Armchair copyright lawyers obviously began spraying their opinion about whether it was fair use or not. You can see a fair amount of absolute bull being confidently asserted in the comments, which is standard for Twitter, but to be fair, it wasn't really an easy case to call. It didn't seem quite as cut and dry as it may have seemed immediately, and certainly some of the other cases I've seen recently where videos have been wrongly flagged down simply as a method for removing criticism and mockery, they are much easier to call. I am aware of two actual lawyers though that have chipped in on YouTube. Nick Riceta of the Riceta Law channel was the first, and he believes that it would be fair use, and Leonard French of the Lawful Masses channel initially stated that he thought it would not be fair use. He felt it would fall in favour of Trevor if it got to court. Leonard French, incidentally, is a copyright lawyer, so his word does hold a bit more weight. But again, it would have to get in front of a judge ultimately before it could be properly decided. Thunderfoot then put out a second video submitting his own reasoning why the use of the clip did come under fair use in his mind. He states that he included Mahlmann's clip to mock SpaceX fanboys and to mock Trevor himself, which if true makes it pretty much guaranteed to be fair use, as close to a guarantee as you can get without it going to court. In his second video, Thunderfoot also shows us an email that he found in his spam folder, apparently from Trevor's lawyers. Which is funny because on Twitter, Trevor repeatedly said nobody is suing anyone, yet Thunderfoot finds an email from his lawyers in his spam folder. The email from the lawyers was basically telling Thunderfoot that Trevor had a solid case and it wasn't worth Thunderfoot trying to defend this in court because he couldn't possibly argue that the use was fair. The lawyer's email also said that the price had now doubled to $1,500 due to, and I'll quote, the fact that rather than working to resolve the matter amicably with Mr. Mahlmann, you aggressively threatened to make a video about him and these claims. So the cost of the clip has apparently doubled because Thunderfoot dared to say that he would make a video about the demand for payment. Not to mention the fact that Thunderfoot had no way to work something out amicably or resolve the matter amicably, as the lawyer's email says. It was simply a case of pay up or be copyright struck. You wouldn't want to lose this big channel of yours, would you? And basically saying that he's doing Thunderfoot a favour by only asking for $750. You'll also notice that the lawyer seems to suggest that they want to keep this private. So I believe that this email was sent prior to Thunderfoot making his first video, and he just didn't get it because it went into his spam folder. I don't know how fondly a judge will look upon this doubling of the price as well, because again, I am just a layman, but based on the spanking that the judge gave Akilah Hughes in her case, I can't see this specific point going in Mahlmann's favour, whether he wins the fair use argument or not. So yes, Thunderfoot hit back with his reasons that he believes he used the clip under fair use, mainly that he was using the video to criticise Mahlmann and SpaceX fans. And interestingly, Leonard French, the copyright lawyer who made the video saying that Trevor would probably win in court, actually commented on Thunderfoot's new video saying that the additional context changed his mind and that he is now of the opinion that the footage would be classed as firmly being used under fair use, which just goes to show that context is everything. Now if this gets to court, it's going to be a fascinating showdown. We've seen showdowns between H3H3 and Matt Hoss, and the aforementioned Akilah Hughes where she took Carl Benjamin to court. Both times the so-called infringer won the case because their use of the other person's video was deemed to be fair. That doesn't mean that's what would happen in this case if it went to court, but if it did, and if it was won by Thunderfoot, it would further clarify the rights of YouTubers to use bits and pieces of copyrighted material in their work without seeking permission and without having to pay. And because this is a massive part of how YouTube works, it would be another extremely important case, just like the two I've just mentioned. If Mahlmann won the case, then it would seriously muddy the waters in terms of what's allowed, and people would really have to rethink how they do things on YouTube. We would obviously see a lot more cases pop up, and the verdicts in those cases would slowly rebuild the picture of what's allowed and what's not when it comes to creativity on YouTube. So it's one to watch if you like this kind of thing. I don't know where it's going to go, but neither Thunderfoot or Trevor are backing down, it seems, so it looks as if at this point it may actually end up in court, which is quite exciting if you're weird like that. Thunderfoot has suggested that he may crowdfund his legal costs if this happens, and I'm sure Trevor may well do the same. With Trevor's support among the pro-Elon Musk camp and Thunderfoot's strong opposition to Elon Musk, I don't think Trevor would find it too difficult to find funding. Likewise, Thunderfoot's got a large subscriber base, and a lot of people in his audience find these things to be worthwhile, so I'm sure he'd find a lot of people happy to donate towards his case, and I personally would consider donating something towards Thunderfoot's costs as well if he did decide to crowdfund this, not only because it's good entertainment, but it's essential for the sake of creative freedom on YouTube that these things are tested in court sometimes. If it doesn't happen now between Thunderfoot and Mahlmann, it's guaranteed that it will happen down the line between other creators, so expect it to be big news when it does happen, because these things always are. So that's the roundup of the situation at the moment as it stands between Thunderfoot and Trevor Mahlmann. I'll leave that one there. I know there's strong opinions on both sides of the argument regarding it though. Please put your comments down in the comment section. Please also consider subscribing to the channel if you like this kind of thing, and drop a like on the video as well to get the video recommended to more people if you can. Catch you in the next one folks. Cheers.